My dear old fruits, what a day of jubilation, of absolute jubilation and joy. A vision, wasn't she? An absolute vision, and one that we've been dreaming of for many months now. This is a day of jubilation and of hope, because as Catherine has told us, she is not out of the woods, but there is much to be hopeful for. And I am going to focus on those happy tidings, but I am going to take a moment of pause to rub my hands in glee along with you, my dears. We can take a moment to pause and rub our little hands, our paws together in glee. And a little dose of despair, I've got to tell you. Because this is the culmination, following on from several months, illustrating the wickedness of humanity, the absolute wickedness of humanity, the mischief. Several months ago, I instructed my moderators to begin deleting all the comments that were pouring in, asking, "Where's Kate? Where's Kate? Where's Kate?" by the 100. And I asked them to delete the comment, to block anybody that they might have happened to have noticed. We don't go through things with a fine-toothed comb, but you understand. I was getting so many comments about Kate ceasing to exist and having died, and many pitiful rumours about William, all this kind of thing. Tell us the truth, they kept caterwauling. Tell us the truth about Kate and all that jazz. But I did find a few, when I looked through some of the old comments today, I did find a few that weren't blocked or deleted. And I'll flash a few up for you and skip ahead if you don't care to hear all of this, but I'm going to address this because it's our time. It's our time to tell these people who I know will be watching the show today what fools they are and how sick some of them are, to be quite honest with you. Rachel Nike Jacobs, where is Kate? You can't visit someone that has not been around since 12/18/23. Tina Midkiff, where is Princess Catherine? Still not seen since Christmas Day 2023. And then the Popo and the ambulance left her home. Oh, clutch the pearls. Helena Jordan, here's my theory. This one takes the biscuit. William, I believe, is 10 cents short of $1, a boozer and a bully, quite happy to raise his fist to win an argument. I think he seriously hurt Catherine during an argument in late December requiring intervention by medical staff and the Popo. I think Charlotte and Louis were witnesses. I think these two children are now under protection and that William is only permitted, limited and supervised access to George. I think Catherine is dead. I've got to laugh a bit, but really it's not that funny. It's not that funny because most of these comments aren't actually jocular. They were intended seriously by the conspiracy theory crew, who I don't have much time for. Per Post said, "Distraction from the truth. If you truly love Kate, look for her, British people. Charles has cancer and he is being seen. Where is Kate? Day 149. Counting the days these people are since she was last seen. Is it really too much to ask to simply believe that she underwent serious abdominal surgery, was in recovery, and then cancerous cells were found, or whatever it was, and she underwent chemotherapy for several months and needed the rest? Why is that so tough to swallow? Why does it cast so much suspicion? Joy Banks, you're delusional about Kate. I thought you'd know more, but you don't. I'm surprised. Anyone following the firm's news output lately knows she has been made unalive." And Ubika Tomic says, "Where is Catherine? No one believe anymore that she is alive. Where are two kids for 147 days? William is scared that his brother will find out the truth." Well, in yesterday's broadcast, I introduced you to the director of General Hospital in Sunset Beach, Fido Xavier, and I think, actually, that these fruitcakes that we're discussing here have overdosed on those sort of soap opera fantasies, because sometimes Sunset Beach would stretch the imagination, I can tell you, into some rather improbable scenarios. And I think they've been overdosing on these kind of fantasies, or their meds. If they are on serious medication, or if they've got mental health challenges that are that deep, then that's one thing. But if they don't, then I'm afraid that it doesn't excuse the fact that some of these people are scum. And these were certainly not the worst comments, because they would have been deleted and got rid of months ago. Certainly not the worst. They're just a few that still exist in the comment section. But they are dark. You are dark people. Dark, twisted, sewer-dwelling trolls and succubi. It's one thing to come here and give an alternative opinion or your view, this sort of thing, but downright stupid, dumb conspiracy theories are taking over the world, and it's got to stop, and people have got to wake up, and it shouldn't be tolerated and proliferated. And coaxing all of these people and goading them into it are various ringleaders throughout the world. And of course, one of the chief ringleaders, one of the chief succubi, was Mr. Boozy, wasn't it? And continues to be. And he is an associate, an employee of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. I mean, seriously, of the people that were once closest to Catherine. William's own brother, peddling misinformation, getting up to all kinds of craftiness. And it is the Duke and Duchess of Sussex who tell us and expect us to believe that they are the ones who are waging a war against internet hate and the hatred and the misinformation and the disinformation. You couldn't make it up, could you? Slaying dragons, are you, Harry? So you tell us. My arse. My arse. And by the way, this doesn't just apply to the Waleses and conspiracy rumours regarding them. It applies to the Harkles too, because it's been brought to my attention several times recently in the comment section that various people out there have been saying that Meghan beats Harry, that she beats him up. And because he's been seen apparently covered in bruises and scratches, I haven't seen it, but I haven't looked for it. I mean, the boy plays polo for a start and many physical sports, but I've never noticed. But regardless, it is absolutely outrageous that these accusations are being stated, seen by tens of thousands of people on these people's platforms. I think it is scandalous, and it's even scandalous that it's permitted on YouTube. It's one thing to demand freedom of speech. It's another thing to offer serious slander as fact. If you're going to accuse any man or woman, be it William or Meghan, of beating their spouse or anybody else, then you better have concrete proof. Concrete proof, not just a hunch, not just testimonies from shady witnesses who know absolutely nothing and are utterly inauthentic. It is the lowest of the low, in fact, profiting from tens of thousands of views in that way. Critique is one thing, but downright slander is something else. So if that is going on, as you tell me it is, it's an utter disgrace. It's not something that just applies to Catherine, but it happens to have accelerated in the wake of her misery. And some members of the Harkle clan, by the way, the other members of Meghan's family, associate with some of these characters online who are saying this. It's really bad. But now I've got that out of my system, because it is rather satisfying to put some of these mischief makers in their place and these conspiracy theories. It was a gloomy morning here in the kingdom, weather-wise. Of course, there were a few bursts of light and then a downpour or two. Did you see? It was all kinds of weather. But, of course, it's been blissful for me. It's been a blissful month of June. It's exactly the kind of weather that I enjoy. A little bit dreary and grizzly and grey, and not scorching hot, so I haven't been complaining half as much as I thought I would for June. Everybody else has, because they want the sun. I'm usually very hot and irritable now, but I've been unseasonably cool and irritable. So that did dampen the atmosphere a little bit, I think, for tripping the colour this morning, but it did not prevent everybody having a very gay time. And it did not prevent a crowd of thousands, an enormous crowd, arriving at the Mall and Horse Guards Parade and outside of the palace to greet members of the royal family and His Majesty the King for Tripping the Colour 2024, also known as the King's Birthday Parade. The birthday parade is not to be confused with the King's official birthday in November. This ceremony dates back to 1760 and King George III's reign, because he was born in June, and later on King Edward VII moved his official celebration to June as well, because of the better chance of good weather. Foiled again. The balcony was draped, fruits of the nation waved their Union Jacks adorned with vibrant costume, and in a trice the first image emerged of our future Queen, Catherine, Princess of Wales. Over 1,400 officers and men of the Household Division readied themselves to parade before their monarch and Commander-in-Chief, King Charles III. The Wales children 3 furnished the crowd and the press with curious glances and tentative waves. 200 horses and 400 musicians and our dear Seamus the wolfhound came together in slick unison in a tightly choreographed display, months in the making for this world-beating display of precision, accuracy, military prowess, symbolism and historical tradition. His Majesty appeared in focus, travelling in the Scottish state coach with his Queen. Last year, for his first tripping, he appeared on horseback, but this was modified this year on doctor's advice. May the world take note of the dutiful service displayed by King Charles and the Princess of Wales, undergoing gruelling treatment as we speak as they are, but fulfilling ongoing commitments to their troops. The Princess wore Jenny Packham. We've seen this dress before. Last time it was in May 2023, but this time we had the addition of a black and white striped bow to the collar and the Irish Guards regimental brooch and a hat by Philip Tracy. In the first barouche, we saw the Duchess of Edinburgh arriving with the Lady Louise, Mountbatten Windsor, and the Duke of Kent. In the second barouche was the Duke of Gloucester, the Duchess of Gloucester, and Vice Admiral Sir Timothy Lawrence. On horseback, the Princess Royal, and also the Prince of Wales and the Duke of Edinburgh. Catherine Wales and her brood followed in the glass coach, with their Majesties bringing up the rear. And there was our Big Willie, divinely handsome, dashing and indubitably royal, looking trussed up like a large hairy phallus in full ceremonial dress, with his jubilee and coronation medals glinting under the clouds. The crowd melted at the sight of Catherine's winning and famous smile, and Queen Camilla was a light and soft confection with the lustre of pearls next to the palest eau de Nil. And if you're familiar with this ceremony, you will understand that as much as onlookers might see pomp and circumstance and think that there's nothing more to it, I'm afraid that only goes to expose their utter ignorance, my dear, because it is full of profound meaning. It's a very emotional ceremony. It means very much to the king, it means very much to all the colonels of the regiments and the royal family, and to the troops themselves and the regiments, because the colours have the history of the regiments and the legacy of those that have fallen and died embroidered physically into the colours that are being tripped. It's deeply profound, and every colonel is intimately involved with their regiments, so don't get it twisted. This is not just about pomp and circumstance. This has all evolved over centuries to be a living, breathing, theatrical representation, a symbolic offering, an illustration of life and death and work and service to our nation. The royal family gathered on the balcony to enjoy the fly past, and they saw the red arrows. The children were being playful as usual, of course. And do you notice the lack of drama when we contrast the behaviour of royalty to that of trashy celebrities taking part in some tawdry kind of cabaret? There's no drama of that sort, no pulling of focus. There's no histrionics. It's understated. This was Catherine's come back. This was the moment for her to break the internet. And that isn't even on her mind, my dear. She just wants to turn up for her regiment and put her best foot forward. It's not some vainglorious attraction, as it would be for others, for other dukes and other duchesses. This is royalty. This is royalty, a lesson in royalty, not celebrity. And it's one of those moments that we can actually take heart and look at the lemonade that's been made out of lemons, because if it weren't for the disparagement that the Walesers have faced over the last few years at the hands of their own family and part flesh and blood, if it weren't for that, I doubt that as many people would be tuning in to watch Tripping the Colour from all over the world. Yes, there's always been large interest in it. It's always made the headlines in the same way. But I'm afraid the more that they are disparaged by some quarters, the more that they are loved, adored and cherished in a way that we've never seen before. Isn't that fantastic? Sophie Edinburgh was wearing a yellow dress by Beulah and a Jane Taylor Persephone hat in crepe. And Lady Lou wore the same creation that we saw her mother wearing at Ascot a while ago, the one that's covered in pansies. Isn't that lovely? She borrowed Mummy's hat. And she wore the Susanna Iris silk dress, the same one that she wore to the coronation. So, let us say it once again for those in the cheap seats at the back. For those of you that kept asking and caterwauling, "Where's Kate? Where's Kate? Where's Kate?" She's on the balcony at Buckingham Palace. My dear, she's not dead, she's not bald, she's next to her strength and stay, standing next to her beloved and devoted husband, the handsome Prince of Wales, and their 3 adoring children, brats though they might be, and Seamus the wolfhound too. So stick that in your pipe and smoke it, lovey. Meanwhile, across the ocean, where his disloyal lowness and her never-royal frowsiness troop their own parade of cheap merchandise, Nacho Figueras, in his role as Cheesy Nachos, brandished the wares of American Riviera orchard. And this time it's not strawberry jam, it's raspberry jam. Actually, I've got to confess to you, raspberry jam is probably my favourite. Not that I want to sample some of hers. Raspberry jam, and this time, it's even more elite than the last collection of 50. It's 2. He has pot 2 out of 2, 1 out of 2. Isn't that sweet? Isn't he oh so special and oh so in favour? And as if that wasn't enough, it was accompanied with dog biscuits. Dog biscuits in a large jar, exclusive special doggy biscuits that go for $100 per kilogram. Can't wait to munch on them, can she? But was it really a coincidence that they were unveiled the very same moment that Catherine was unveiled to her loving public? That is a question for Cheesy Nachos. But I would say curiouser and curiouser. Isn't it funny that the exact moment in time that Catherine appears, so do Meghan's dog biscuits? Talk about a dog whistle. Very underhand behaviour. But guess what? It did not dampen the day. The rain didn't dampen the day, and neither did that connivance, that conniving little pop-up appearance. No. Not bothered. Now, wasn't the photograph of the Princess of Wales absolutely heavenly? The one that popped up of her surrounded by trees, I believe a willow or a weeping willow tree. Surely one of the most heavenly trees in the world. My grandmother has a weeping willow in her garden that is part of the family, really. Can't imagine life without it. We speak of trees so much here on the broadcast, don't we, my dear? You know that I love them, I talk to them, and we're very much inspired by trees. It's a recurring theme because I bring it to you and force feed it to you all the time, my dear, whether it's a Sycamore Gap or anybody else's gap. I bring you the trees, and it was just right up my street and such a tonic that this photograph was focused on the trees. And it was captured by Matt Porteous this year, so we're told, gloriously verdant, with all the elements featured, the earth the air, the water, and Catherine's fire. The fire comes from Catherine and her determination. And there she is against the firm trunk of the tree. And I shall read you what she said. I have been blown away by all the kind messages of support and encouragement over the last couple of months. It really has made the world of difference to William and me, and has helped us both through some of the harder times. I am making good progress, but as anyone going through chemotherapy will know, there are good days and bad days. On those bad days you feel weak, tired, and you have to give in to your body resting. But on the good days, when you feel stronger, you want to make the most of feeling well. My treatment is ongoing and will be for a few more months. On the days I feel well enough, it is a joy to engage with school life, spend personal time on the things that give me energy and positivity, as well as starting to do a little work from home. I'm looking forward to attending the King's Birthday Parade this weekend with my family and hope to join a few public engagements over the summer, but equally knowing I am not out of the woods yet. I am learning how to be patient, especially with uncertainty, taking each day as it comes, listening to my body and allowing myself to take this much needed time to heal. Thank you so much for your continued understanding, and to all of you who have so bravely shared your stories with me. Catherine. And I thank you for sharing your stories with me, my dear Fruit Crumbles. This broadcast wouldn't be the same without your engagement and adding your fruity thoughts to the comment section as you do. So please do leave me some more and let me know what you think of today's proceedings. Isn't it marvellous to have our princess back? Tentatively so. And we can look forward to seeing her more over the summer. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. I was just about to sign off and flick my fan, but actually I'm dressed up like the Blue Fairy, aren't I? Or the Fairy Godmother. And I just had a thought. My little magic wand that I keep nestled among the flowers behind me is a perfect match, isn't it? An absolute perfect match. So I think I will sign off with a little bit of magic this time. Channel the royal spirit, my dears. Thank you for your company. I look forward to seeing you next time. My tip jar, if you enjoyed the show, is in the description box, and I thank you most sincerely. Channel the royal spirit. Turn what is tragic into magic.